Our reporter Clare McNeill is live for us on the boundary between the borders and Dumfries and Galloway. Clare, a welcome bit of freedom for many in southern Scotland from today.
Absolutely. We can now cross over into another local authority area for non-essential purposes. But of course in Scotland there are still no pubs or restaurants open, no indoor attractions. We're still being asked to shop within our own local authority if we can. So today's rule change was really just about getting people together for the sake of their mental health, reuniting those families and friends who've been kept separate for so many months. So from today, 6 adults from up to 6 households can now meet outdoors in a garden or in the countryside. So if the weather stays like this, we may see many people flocking to places like St Mary's Loch or other beauty spots they've been missing. But for many people, the real treat this weekend will be seeing those loved ones. Where I'm walking now, just outside Kelso, runs the border between Scotland and England. Now for most of us, we don't really give that border a second thought. For as long as we can remember, it hasn't really had any impact on our lives. We can move and travel freely between the two countries. But as of Friday, the Scottish Government has said it's against the law to travel between Scotland and England unless it's for an essential purpose in a bid to stem the spread of coronavirus. So this is actually quite an unusual thing. Now, with me to talk a bit about the history of this border is renowned historian Alistair Moffat. Alistair, how unusual is something like this?
Well, it is unusual in the modern times because down here, this little burn here, the Redden Burn, that is the border. You could actually hop with one bound into England.
And you're obviously out in conditions like this, that's part of the job, isn't it? But what
Yes.
were they like yesterday? Were they particularly bad?
They were the worst conditions I've been out in a long time. You're talking eventually, the weather did come in really badly in the last couple of hours of the shout. The wind must have been coming in at 40-50 mile an hour.
Rescue teams are warning people that although the weather may seem mild and roads drivable when you set off on your journey, conditions in rural areas like the borders can deteriorate very, very quickly. So they're advising people to take weather warnings very seriously. With social distancing, the auditorium will have capacity for around 400 as opposed to the usual 1,500. In order to maintain social distancing, there will be 2 seats between each party and groups will be sat in 2s, 4s or 6s. Rows will be staggered so you're not sitting directly in front of or behind anybody else, and there'll be at least 2 metres plus between each party. This humble crop is destined for the whisky market. But before it can quench the thirst of drinkers across the country, this barley is in need of a big drink itself. Farmer Neil Thompson says the weather is becoming more and more unpredictable and it's a real challenge for the industry. As we've been filming, there has been a short shower, but nothing substantial, and Neil says nowhere near enough. He says for the average month he'd be satisfied if he had around 30 millimetres of rainfall. In the whole of April, though, he's recorded just 2.
So you can see, Claire, that we've just had a nice wee shower of rain and there's just a bit of dampness in that soil now, which is just making all the difference. It could do with a lot more because you can still see that dried out very, very quickly on the top there. You know, it's really, really dry there. Yeah. There's nutrients sitting in there on the surface, ready to be taken up by that crop.
So it really has been a big day for businesses across the high streets across Scotland. And joining me now is Debbie Patterson from Energise Galashiels. They're the body who've been set up to help regenerate the town centre here. So Debbie, how important a day has it been for businesses here?
It's been incredibly important after a long 4-month lockdown. Second lockdown we've had in the last 12 months. And I think so many businesses have just been elated at opening their doors today.
And Debbie, you mentioned it there, but I mean, you know, we know the struggles the high street have been having. Galashiels is no exception. How much harm do you think a 4-month lockdown may have done, and what are Energise Galashiels hoping to do to support the businesses in the coming months? Debbie, thank you so much. I'm sure they'll appreciate the help. Well, the road to recovery for retail businesses here in Galashiels and across the south of Scotland has well and truly begun, and they'll be hoping that this time they'll be able to stay open for good.
Absolutely. Great to see those businesses reopening. Claire, thank you very much.